Is it just us, or has the golfing world become more interesting than ever since the kickoff of the Rebel, Saudi-backed LIV Golf Series? Anyway, the PGA Tour's BMW Championship has culminated recently, and we have our winner, who also happens to be the first one to have won the championship back-to-back, and it's Patrick Cantlay. So in today's video, we'll talk about Patrick Cantlay's win and everything else about it. First off, history was made this year in the BMW Championship. Not a few days back, Patrick Cantlay became the first player ever to win the BMW Championship back-to-back since the beginning of the FedEx Cup in 2007. The American golfer won the previous championship at the Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills, Maryland. A year ago from today, the golfer made one clutch putt after another to beat Bryson DeChambeau. The splendid victory allowed him to be the top seed in the subsequent championship, giving him a two-shot margin that eventually won him the FedEx Cup with a one-shot win over John Ram. In a breathtaking display of skills this year, the 30-year-old managed to defend his championship title. He made history, becoming the first player ever to win back-to-back BMW championships ever since the day FedEx Cup started. Well, this one was on a different course, namely the Wilmington Country Club. It certainly was a nail-bitingly close game. It's also true that he did have to go through an extra 6 playoff holes to win this one. Nevertheless, Patrick has reached unsurmountable fame after making history on the green field of Wilmington Country Club recently. The win also placed him in the second spot in the FedEx Cup points. In the same match, Stallings finished second just by one shot, whereas Schoffel and Scheffler both finished third. Moving on, what are some of the highlights of the game? The field was indeed full of unmatched energy when the event kicked off. It felt as if everyone knew something magical was coming out of it. Patrick was initially tied up for the lead on the 17th hole when he took the tough decision of hitting a driver. Well, he had doubts that the ball might find the bunkers to the right side. It ended up short of the last, took a big hop, and tumbled through the first cut into the fairway just 64 yards away from the hole. It's an incredible shot indeed that turned the tables on his competitor. Patrick admitted this break was something he never expected and that he took great advantage of later in the game. He then hit a spinner that stopped only 5 feet short of the hole. He then recorded an easy birdie and found the green number 18 from a fairway bunker. For the FedEx Cup, the star golfer will go in as number 2 seed, starting off 2 shots behind the 4-time winner Scotty Scheffler. And now, what about his competitors? It's certainly a close match this year at the BMW Championship since Patrick won over his competitor, Scott Stallings, with only one shot. Stallings had been running consistently into a bit of hard luck lately since the golfer had his last victory some 8 years ago at Torrey Pines. Ever since then, he'd started off some 238 games without winning a single one of them. However, at the 2022 BMW Championship, it seemed as if his curse was finally over. However, he missed some 4 birdie chances inside 18 feet towards the end, with the shocking last one just inside 10 feet. On the other hand, Xander Schauffele, who's playing in the final group with Cantlay, had a 7-foot birdie putt. Had he made it, he'd have finished the third alone without having to share the spot with Scheffler. It's especially interesting because in that case, Patrick would have entered the FedEx Cup as the top seed then. Unfortunately, the putt slid onto a little right and Schauffele had a 71. Likewise, Scheffler, who shared the third spot with Schauffele, put on a late hitting 3 birdies in 4 holes and was only 1 shot behind. Unfortunately for him though, he missed a 4-foot par putt on the final hole for a 70 that ended up costing him. Moving on, the Patty Ice incident from the match. Cantlay's championship title defense was put under severe stress when he carded his second bogey in a 3-hole stretch and fell 2 shots off the pace. Those moments were nerve-wracking for the 30-year-old golfer when one piercing voice came from the crowd, "Let's go Patty Ice." Patty Ice was the same nickname chanting only a year before in the same championship when Cantlay had managed to win it. Not only did the form win him the championship last year, but it also won him the FedEx Cup and the $18 million prize. It seemed as if the voice pierced Cantlay's consciousness because that happened to be the same time when he took a deep last breath and dropped his pensive gaze. Well, a lot of people argued that he's nowhere close to being the surgically accurate Patty Ice of last year. Cantlay showed the crowds afterwards that the ice had not melted. If at all, it's lying intact waiting for the right time to come out. He then bounced back immediately on the 11th hole with a birdie and carded another one on the 14th hole to set up a go-ahead birdie. Afterwards, when he found himself in a tough fairway bunker on the last hole, requiring par for victory, he hit a beautiful shot to the green, securing the first ever defense of a FedEx Cup playoff event. From from the looks of it all, it seems that the Patty Ice shout made him come out onto the field, and it's a welcome sight indeed. If things go well, we might get to witness the first ever defense of the FedEx Cup itself. Good luck to Patrick for the play ahead. And now, in other news, first off, Tom Weiskopf is no more. Tom Weiskopf was a renowned name in the golfing world after having finished a 4-time runner-up at the Masters. He also won 16 PGA Tour events, including a British Open, and later became a television commentator. Apart from that, he's also a golf course designer. The old hand left this world at the age of 79 a few days back at his home in Big Sky. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2020 and died of the same ailment. He's known for his powerful swing and won 5 times on the PGA Tour in 1973. However, his most stellar moment came when he won the British Open, defeating Johnny Miller and Neil Coles by 3 shots and Jack Nicklaus by 4 shots. Tom became a professional in 1964 and played in the PGA Tour from 1968 to 1982. Afterwards, he even joined the Senior PGA Tour and defeated Nicklaus again by 4 strokes in the 1995 United States Senior Open. Furthermore, as a designer, he designed TPC Scottsdale's Stadium Course, which has been the site of the PGA Tour's WM Phoenix Open since 1987. Moving on, top 30 players will be making an appearance in the upcoming FedEx Cup. While Patrick has come out to be the star of the BMW Championship, there are 29 others who still count as winners for getting the chance to appear in the FedEx Cup shortly. Aside from a guaranteed $500,000 for the last place and an $18 million prize purse for the top spot, a spot in the Tour Championships accompanies itself exemptions into the Masters, US Open, and Open Championship. In addition, it also brings along a number of invites to the Tour's important events. Out of these 29 players, there were 4 who weren't in the top 30 before the BMW Championship and vaulted their way into the top 30 by their splendid play in the match. Scott Stallings is a prominent name in the group whose runner-up finish jumped him 34 spots to 12th place. The other 3 players include Adam Scott, K.H. Lee, and Aaron Wise. Other prominent names in the top 30 with their next year made include Will Zalatoris, Sam Burns, Cameron Smith, Tony Finau, Rory McIlroy, and John Ram. Aaron Wise came out to be the number 30 who barely made it into the top 30. And finally, a bizarre incident took place involving Rory McIlroy and a fan at the BMW Championship. During the 3rd round of the BMW Championship on a long Saturday, things got a bit interesting when a fan indulged in mischief on the course. There appeared a moving golf ball on the field that left Rory McIlroy confused for a moment. He initially thought that it was Stallings' ball. However, he quickly connected the dots when a man holding a remote controller appeared nearby. The 4-time major winner wasn't thrilled with the whole episode and stepped towards the ball, struck it with his club, and then held it off the ground. He then threw it in the water nearby, drawing a huge cheer from the crowd. An officer eventually escorted the fan in possession of the remote control away, who, before leaving, flashed his thumbs down and drew boos from the crowd. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about Patrick Cantlay's back-to-back wins at the BMW Championship this year? Would he be able to win the FedEx Cup as well? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.